What is up, my frosty brethren? My name is Arctic, and today I'm bringing you guys some Destiny gameplay, and I wanted to talk about the state of weapon balance. I wanted to absorb a lot of gameplay before giving any opinions on the most recent patch, where we got the pulse rifle buff, basically a nerf across the board for a lot of other weapons. I don't like to jump the gun with things. For those that tune into my live stream, I still go through just about every single weapon set and class and use it in games, regardless if I'm winning or losing or whatever. And I try to minimize the frequency of using what a lot of other streamers end up using, which is something like Last Word and a shotgun, secret handshake, or Fellwinter's Lie currently, something of that nature. With the most recent patch, 1.11, I believe is the name of it, we got a pretty significant buff to pulse rifles. I believe it was almost 10% at 9.7% buff to damage, making several of the pulse rifles two-shot bursts, Red Death, and 3 Little Words, to name a couple that I actually have and know off the top of my head. And it improved a number of other weapons quite a bit. So of the pulse rifles that I've been using, Red Death, Bad Juju, 3 Little Words, they feel significantly better. I really liked Red Death when it was a 2-shot back before they kind of changed the fire rate on it. Back when the game, I want to say it's even before the first patch and weapon balance and stuff in the game. It was a 2-shot, much slower fire rate. I really liked that one because it felt significantly different as a pulse rifle, just from that really slow rate of fire. And I wasn't keen on the change that they made to make it a little bit faster, but I think for a lot of people that felt better. Bad Juju has continually improved. It went from one of the jokes of the game to, I would say, it's a pretty formidable weapon to use if you're going up against it. You can really drop some people. And another one that I actually like and that I've used is Stranger's rifle. Surprisingly enough, I kept mine, didn't dismantle it. And I've talked to a lot of people in stream, had them be like, hey, Stranger's rifle is actually pretty damn good. So I feel like pulse rifles, for the most part, across the board, feel a lot better. I do have one called Fair and Square that is still trash. It is just not very good at all. And I've tried to use it a bunch of different times, and I'm just not feeling that particular one. The rate of fire is pretty slow, but it doesn't hit hard, and it reloads extremely slow. It just feels bad for Legendary across the board. It's one that, maybe if you get a good roll on it, it would feel better, but it just doesn't feel very good. Hand cannons, I think, was the one that a lot of people wanted to see some change, especially with the Last Word, Thorn use being what you see a lot of the top tier players using. And the nerf that they did, which I think was initial shot is less accurate, just doesn't fly, right? And there's supposed to be some damage drop off at distance, but I'm going to tell you guys, if you play the game, most of the encounters that you have aren't going to be at a distance where the nerf that they applied would even go into effect. A lot of players are blinking around, they're moving pretty fast at the top tier. So they're going to be pretty close on you when they start their engagements. You're not going to be getting sniped across the map with the Last Word. Now Thorn, it's still pretty effective at a lot of distances, and I think a lot of people are kind of looking for that to be scaled back a little. I'm honestly fine with both Last Word and Thorn being in play. I've outshot some of the best players, currently on, I should say top ranked players currently in the game, using a lot of different stuff. So, and while they're using Last Words with Thorn. So, I don't really feel like it's a matter of not being able to get in position to get kills. I feel like it's more of like team composition. They're usually in parties and whatnot. So it makes it kind of difficult to outshoot them when you're getting gunned down if you're playing solo, or the rest of your teammates that you have, if you're in a party, aren't up to the same skill level as them. Hand cannons in general, I've heard a lot of people talking about how difficult, let's say, like the Last Word is to use and controlling the recoil. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone say live in the chat while we're all talking about it, I can't aim the Last Word. I don't mess with it. And I feel like a lot of people take for granted how skilled they may be. So when they talk about balance for a weapon like that, they don't realize how difficult it is for a lot of other people to use. So I feel like hand cannons are in a pretty good spot. You know, I love using Red Hand. You guys have seen me drop a lot of 40 bombs with that particular weapon. I also use the Devil You Don't. I just got one with Field Scout, so I'm going to have, I think, 10 rounds in the chamber, 9, or 8 or 10. I can't remember what it is. And I can't wait to use that one. Timber's Lash, I've used that here and there. Also another great one to use. And I think that's about it. I don't really have too many others that are in the rotation for me. And then for auto rifles, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't use auto rifles at all. I've not really liked them. And I feel like they were unjustly nerfed. You know, auto rifles are the entry point for a lot of new players. So I feel like Bungie looking at the stats and saying, I think it was like 18% of the population was using auto rifles in Crucible. That was a little misleading because it's an entry level weapon. You pray or you spray and pray with it. You don't need a whole lot of accuracy in order to get hits on people. And I think that that barrier to entry was kind of, you know, made a little bit more difficult in the Crucible because of the nerfs to the auto rifles. They've continually gotten hammered. They were very, very good at the start of the game, and since then they've continually gotten whacked. But I still feel like they're going to be popular among users because, again, they're the easiest to utilize because of that. Typically, the magazine size and the notion that they're full auto, right? It makes it a lot easier. Scout rifles about the same. I've been using those here and there. They didn't really see any changes. And what am I missing? Fusion rifles, shotguns, snipers. The wall bang nerf, it's noticeable, but I'm still getting wall bangs. And when I do now, the celebration is even bigger for the live stream because it happens so rarely. I feel like a lot of people are providing misinformation about wall bangs. They are still there, still possible. You can still light people up in some of the same spots that people were saying that it wasn't possible, but I feel like those people were actually missing their shots. Let me stress that, missing their shots. I'll throw up some gameplay for you guys of wall bangs in action. Still very much a thing. Do not believe the naysayers. You can still bang people out. So LDR or any armor piercing round for that matter, still a very good sniper to have. Fusion rifles feel about the same. You know, there's a couple times where I feel like maybe I'm not getting some of the kills that I should be getting, but I use so much sniper that when I mix in a fusion rifle at times, it makes it feel like it's like I have to adjust to it again, I guess is the best way I could put it. And then shotguns. Look, in Inferno playlist, shotguns are ridiculous. Outside of that, the only shotgun that I feel like I have a problem with is Fellwinter's Lie, because so many people rolled Hammer Forged and either Shot Package or Rangefinder that the thing is like a sniper. You get blasted by people with Fellwinter's Lie, and that's the only one at this point where I feel like, man, they need to tweak something with that bad boy because they're lighting a lot of people up at distances that have you scratching your head like, is this a real thing? Is that possible? Outside of that, you know, rocket launchers, all that stuff feels the same. I don't think there was any changes to those. You know, I think that for the most part, I'm really enjoying that Bungie is continuing to iterate on changes. Some of them they're thrown into the wild without a full test in mind, but you know, I don't know what they're doing before they start tweaking things and then letting it go. But I feel like some of those they didn't really think about. Fellwinter's is a good example, and I think a lot of people knew beforehand, licking their chops at that shotgun, knowing that you know, it was something that you could reforge and then you were going to have ridiculous range on it. So some of those things I think they need to think about a little bit more in depth before they make some releases. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job with 1.1. I'm looking forward to some more changes that they have. I'm looking forward to some nerfs on specifically on Fellwinter's Lie. All you Fellwinter's Lie folks out there, they actually talked about it on their stream. They said, "Whoa, this thing is hitting people from a pretty far range." Didn't look into that. That was the thing. So hopefully they'll continue with some great balance changes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of folks wanted me to talk about the game balance and weapon balance, stuff like that. Maybe I'll talk about supers and classes and stuff, all that in another video. But until the next time, folks, I will catch you all later. Stay frosty. Well, you're here, made it this far. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate it. I think all of my brethren would appreciate it. Leave a like.
help spread the word. Subscribe if you've not already. And we have a lovely video right there. Check that on out.